Welcome back, everyone, to the Fourth and Long podcast. I am, of course, your host, Ross K. Allen. The K stands for kind and considerate.
I know you're gonna say chromosome.
No, I'm not that stupid yet. I'm, of course, joined by Jalen Johnson. The J's stand for jackass.
Nope, just Jalen Johnson.
Nope. Jackass Johnson. Thank you very much. But today we got some great NFL news, some holdouts, some potential signees. We have some NCAA football news. MLB season is not going to happen.
In jeopardy.
And I'm pessimistic, baby. It's not going to happen.
The
NBA season is finally back soon.
With
sometime. And their return to play is confusing, to say the least.
Yeah.
But let's get into things. Like I said, NFL. Interesting story from Deshaun Jackson with the potential of fans not being in the stadiums and other total whirlwind swirling around the sport right now. Deshaun Jackson has an idea. I'm sure he got some hints from the XFL, some kind of inspiration, tips from the XFL. He says that we should mic up players. And I say, yes, we should. And while we're at it, let's change the rating of NFL games to like TV PG to like TVR because
17. They got TV 17.
TV 17 is fine because that shit would be off the whack.
Yeah. Some players say some great. Myself, in my career as a football player, I've said some stuff on the field that I would not want recorded and said out loud.
Well, see, it's not like I say anything like specifically bad. I did make fun of some really personal stuff about a player. I do when I was still playing, like in high school, I did my research of because I didn't just call people names. I went for the jugular. Jayla could attest to that.
Yes, he did.
I played dirty both in my actions on the field and what I said on the field. So I don't want that stuff to be taped. But besides that ginormous, excessive amounts of flagrant profanity that every single football player spews during the course of practice or games. Mm-hmm. The problem is if we did mic up players, you just hear one long ass beep or just mute as the TV stations try to censor everything.
Yeah, because right now they already do. The NFL already does mic'd up. They'll have like one player who has a mic on, and that's the one that they do. But with every player mic'd up, that one specific player usually when they have the mic on before pregame when they're like stretching and prepped around, they like walk around like, "Hey, watch what you say, mic on." But when everyone has that mic on, then that's when it might not turn out so well.
I don't care from a TV executive perspective or maybe some mom perspective. I don't care, but as a sports fan and as a former football player, I say bring it on, bring in the full glory of the excessive amounts of profanity and awful stuff you'll hear through the TV. I'm 100% for it.
Yeah, no, 100%. It'd be a fun experience. It's just, NFL players, if every single person on the field is mic'd up, I don't think it's gonna last too long. No. I think it'd be a week, and then people would be what?
We have experience from the XFL in the very first, not even the first week, but the first game that they're doing the instant sideline interviews. The player dropped the F-bomb live on camera, and it was broadcasted nationally. So
it was pretty funny too. I give it a thumbs up. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Let's bring it on. Also, let's talk about Antonio Brown working out with Deion Sanders, potential Antonio Brown return to the NFL. Who's desperate enough to need Antonio Brown? That was the thing.
I mean, the thing is with Antonio Brown, it's kind of a double-edged sword. If you don't sign him, you're missing out on one of the best receivers in the game right now, statistically. But if you do sign him, you don't know how this is the mind.
Well, it's the old helmet, right? Can we blame the old helmet?
I think we should blame the old helmet.
No, the thing I always will blame is Vontaze Burfict for giving Antonio Brown permanent brain damage after he speared him and knocked him out.
I think something wrong happened. That something, he was
That is exactly where his career started going out the deep end.
Yeah, that's around the time where that's next season coming up and time after that, when he started acting weird. But I don't know what it was. Antonio Brown is like always kind of like a stand-up guy. He's just like kind of funny guy. From what I know, obviously I'm not a player that's been around him. I don't really know him personally. So I don't know if this was like, I don't know if this was like a change. I don't know if this was finally him just letting his normal behavior out to the world. If this is just everyone around him's like, this is normal, then whatever. But for me, based off of how he acted before, just to the normal public, this just, he went out of whack randomly. And it's kind of just like, do you want that? Like, even if he shows up and like for training camp, he's all good. First 2 weeks, he's good. You have to think for the rest of this season, do you think he's going to be the quiet, just playful guy? Or is he going to come out and start saying some weird crap? You don't know. So it's like, you have to decide, is it worth it?
Well, we know he could still bring it on the field. When he was with the Patriots for that one game, he was good. He had his touchdown and all that. But it's about what he brings to the locker room. All I know is Vontaze Burfict is an awful dirty player, and he should rot in the bottom of the league suspensions, just permanent suspension.
Not too long ago?
Yeah. But as a Broncos fan, I have to say thank you, because the week after he took out Antonio Brown, then the Broncos played the Steelers the following week, and so they didn't have to worry about Antonio Brown. Made it a little easier for them to go to the Super Bowl and win it, have Peyton Manning walk into the sunset, and then also Vontaze Burfict blessed us with this reincarnation of Antonio Brown that gives us constant talking points and constant laughs. So
it's something to talk about during this coronavirus pandemic.
I never thought I'd say this, but Vontaze Burfict, I appreciate you.
I don't know if you've heard it. Have you heard Antonio Brown's single that he released?
Was it like F White Woman?
No, not that one. Not that one.
What's
more? I forgot the name of it. It's really hard to tell because like I have some of the lyrics in my head, but the lyrics have nothing to do with the title of the song. He starts talking about like a guitar.
Let
me play my guitar.
Bro,
something like that.
CT talking at this point. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know where that went. It sounded terrible. But the thing is, when it started, crisp, clean, I was like, "Ooh, this Antonio Brown making it in the music business." The song was good. The girl he had doing the intro and stuff was good. And then like he came on track and started going, and I was like, okay, he's gonna switch it up. Like this just his talking intro voice or something. And then he just kept doing it. And then
okay,
next thing I know,
Jalen, you're going to listen to one rapper the rest of your life. Okay. Who is it? Antonio Brown or Tyron Woodley?
Tyron Woodley.
Oh,
Antonio Brown was so bad. That song was terrible.
That's saying something, because if Antonio Brown's that much worse than Tyron Woodley.
Tyron Woodley, his voice didn't sound bad. His delivery was off.
And then the lyrics are stupid as hell too.
Yeah. It was like his voice. He has the voice to do music. He just doesn't know how to put it out there. His delivery and the way he puts his words onto paper aren't the best. Antonio Brown's words weren't good. His delivery wasn't good. He didn't sound like he knew he was doing.
Jalen,
was bad.
I'm about to change the music industry and the rap industry forever.
Yeah.
Tyron Woodley single track with Antonio Brown making an appearance on it.
Yeah, no, I'm never listening to that song. I will burn that track. I will report it on YouTube. I will report it on any streaming service, especially the streaming services that we, the Fourth and Long podcasts, are on. I will not have that.
Such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you listen.
Anywhere
to
you
podcasts.
hear podcasts,
and
we
YouTube.
are on. And Anchor.
Or everywhere. And Anchor. Thank you, Anchor. There's a plug. Probably like one of the 5 plugs I'm going to go and do, because that's just the way I work. Let's talk about...
No, we plug just because we plug. Like, we don't really make...
I am the plug.
Okay, don't say that. You might get arrested. That is admitting to selling of drugs.
No. The only thing I sell is oregano.
Oregano and parsley?
Actually, I have basil leaves in the cupboard. Good stuff. Throw on chicken.
Oh, yeah. And some potatoes.
I made both of those just now. So, yes.
Smart man. Protein.
No, I'm a G. Only protein.
Only.
Let's talk about two people that are unsigned, likely going to be signed this season. And let's talk about which person is going to be signed first. Candidate number one. Open the first door. We have Cam Newton, former NFL MVP, still unsigned. The market has reportedly cooled on him. And by cooled, I mean it's ice cold. It's colder than the non-existent watch on my wrist. It's colder than Ice Cube. And it's colder than my ex-girlfriend's heart.
Yeah, I feel like you shout that out a couple times.
I'm still pissed she made me miss the fight.
Yeah, she did. That was a good show too.
Well,
I thought
maybe,
you guys were
well, if we're on that topic, man, I should take a page out of Ray Rice's playbook.
No, not at all. No one's ever taken a page out of Ray Rice's playbook. Other than the fact that he had a pretty solid career before that. Take those pages, but then stop reading before you get to the end. Don't go the way to the end like he did. And for sure, I know there's some weird people out there who read books this way. They read the last page first. Don't do that. That'd be a terrible way to do it. My sister does that. And it's really what? She reads the last sentence of every book before she starts reading the rest of the book. She makes it. Well, her reasoning was it helps her decide if it's a book it's worth reading.
No, that's why you read the little thingy inside the first page.
That's what I said. But she said, and it makes her want to read. Because, if you read at the end and then Billy disappeared into the mist and you were just reading a book and it's like, what the hell? Why?
That's lame. That's lame. Okay.
Yeah.
No, whatever. Let's move on that. So we have Cam Newton. He still has a lot of upside, but he's probably going to be, he's not going to start this year. At least he's not going to be brought on as a starter. He's not going to be brought on as a backup. Some teams I talked about in the past, Jacksonville, really keen on Jacksonville. Maybe New England. New England doesn't want him, though. Maybe San Diego. San Diego doesn't want him, though. Wow. Swear jar. Los Angeles Chargers. Jeez.
Yeah.
Where are my manners? I'm sorry to all 6 of those Los Angeles Chargers fans. I really do apologize to you guys. And then also, probably one of the better places is a backup with the Pittsburgh Steelers because Big Ben's not going to be playing forever. He maybe has like 2, maybe 3 seasons left. And if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but I should be, considering how well I predicted UFC 250 going 8-1. Jalen sucked on that one. I retained my suck my pick title. There's my plug on that one.
If we're being honest, though, I made a mean comeback. I started off 0-4 and finished off 5-4.
No, you were 4-5. Blake was 5-4.
No, I thought I finished 5-4. Did I not?
No, you were 4-5.
I was 4-5.
You were 4-5.
I finished off 4-1.
8-1. I really should have bet on that. But there's speaking of what I was saying though is that there's no way that Big Ben actually finishes all 16 games of the regular season, soon to be 17. And so Cam Newton, if you go to Pittsburgh, you are going to be playing meaningful games probably because Big Ben's going to get late halfway through the season, and Cam Newton's going to be brought in to make the playoff push. And he's going to salvage the season. He's going to win them the playoffs. He's going to win a couple playoff games. And he's going to be the new hero of Pittsburgh. They're going to throw out Ben Rapensberger, and Cam Newton's going to be the new starting quarterback of the Steelers. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, I 100% agree that could easily happen just because Big Ben, the last couple of seasons, even if it isn't as bad as it was last season, he has gone down at some point over the last couple of seasons, even if it was just like a quarter or 2-3 games, 1 game. He's been going down, and it's just getting worse and worse every season that goes by. It's getting worse and worse. So to have a quarterback who you can probably at this point get for cheap, pretty cheap, the MVP speaking cheap.
A few
probably
million
not going to get. Yeah, a few million. I would say 8 mil. I think you can get him for 8 mil, maybe even 7. I think you can get him down.
Not a year.
I would sign him to a 2-year for 16 with a team option as a 2nd year.
Wow, you're very nice to Cam Newton. Here,
it's just if you think about it, Cam Newton played bad to start the year, but we all knew he had an injury that he didn't have surgery for yet. Now everyone's saying he looks good, and last time we know that in NFL, like high-ranked NFL execs were saying Cam Newton looks good. It's not like he's done anything. It's just he's not signed because he wanted to be a starter. And this is kind of one of those weird points right now to where a lot of teams have a guy that they think is the guy, which doesn't happen a lot. But right now, everybody...
It's a really bad time to be free agent quarterback.
Yeah. And it's also because it's during this pandemic, so it's not like people are out there practicing. People can't see how crappy that their quarterback of the future is right now. So nobody's panicking. They're like, whatever. Like, not saying Joe Burrow's bad, but the Bengals can't be like, okay, Joe's throwing 20 interceptions at practice this week. Let's sign a vet just in case. They can't do that. That's just obviously an example. I don't think Joe Burrow's going to throw 20 interceptions in practice like Jimmy Garoppolo. But you're not seeing your players right now. So you still have, as players say, what's on paper. On paper, this team looks really good. But you haven't seen them play yet. So nobody's panicked about we should sign Cam Newton as a backup because they think they have everything set.
Yeah. But if you want to talk about a guy that we haven't seen for a while, we have candidate number 2. His name has always been the news every time something racial comes up and every time a backup quarterback goes down. His name is always brought up. You probably know who I'm talking about by now. Colin Kaepernick. With the whole new push, we have Pete Carroll releasing earlier today that there is someone looking into researching Colin Kaepernick. Is Colin Kaepernick going to be on the roster this season? And before you answer yes, tell me why it's yes.
Well, if I answer yes, which I am, I think it is.
There we go. I knew you would.
My reasoning for yes, first of all, NFL execs are right now saying, and that's all we have to go off of. We don't have any film to go off of, so we have to go off of what the NFL execs do. That's their job, to check in on players, see if the players are worth looking at. So NFL execs right now, and people close to not Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, are saying he's in the best shape of his life. And at that point, if I'm a guy with a quarterback who I'm even slightly iffy about, and my backup quarterback's really iffy too, I'm bringing in Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick has proved himself. It's not like most quarterbacks who end up out the league for a while, they had a really bad season and then they disappeared. Colin Kaepernick had a pretty good season his last season. It wasn't the best season, but it wasn't a bad season. It was
average.
It was a slightly, I would say, slightly above average season. It wasn't what he was doing before, but it definitely wasn't. He didn't really have a good supporting cast that year either, so it wasn't 100% his fault. But he didn't have the worst season. And then you also have to look at the fact if I keep saying Cam Newton because we were just talking about Cam Newton, but Colin Kaepernick does not have a job. And based off of, if we're just going off of the last season he played, and now people are saying he looks like he's in the best shape of his life. So we're going to assume that right now he would do probably slightly better than he did in his last season that he played. Not tremendously better, but slightly better. Now you have to look at teams where they have quarterbacks like their Bears backup quarterback right now, or supposedly starter quarterback Mitch Trubisky. Had a way worse season if we're comparing it to Colin Kaepernick last season. Yeah, but Nick Foles is there. So that's
or Mike Lennon.
Yeah, Jacksonville. They have Minshew. But Minshew is still kind of iffy. He could do good.
Sign Cam Newton.
Which is why they signed Cam Newton. If they don't, then fuck it. And then Minnesota. They have Kirk Cousins, who doesn't know how to show up in primetime. Sign Colin Kaepernick and have him play all the primetime games and let
Hey, if there's any team that should be signed Colin Kaepernick, it might be a team from Minnesota.
Yeah. That's a big publicity.
Let's be real right now. But here's the real question, though, Jalen. The real question is, he's going to be on the roster. Who gets signed to the roster first, though? Cam Newton or Colin Kaepernick? And why is it Colin Kaepernick?
I honestly don't think it will be Colin Kaepernick.
Oh.
I think the NFL at this point, they're trying to prove a point. They just apologized to Kaepernick and said that they were, well, it wasn't a formal apology, but they pretty much came out and said that they were wrong about Kaepernick. Yeah. So as of right now, as far as the public knows, Colin Kaepernick has been unblacklisted. He's not on the blacklist anymore for what we know. This could just be a publicity, just so they could say, oh, whatever.
Wouldn't surprise
me.
But
I think they want to prove a point, but at the same time, teams are going to see, okay, the best two quarterbacks available right now, in my opinion, are Colin Kaepernick and Cam Newton. Those are the best two quarterbacks available. Teams are going to sign Cam Newton first to say that they signed a quarterback. Oh, this is why we didn't sign. Because right now there are teams that have iffy quarterbacks. I can't name them all right now, but there are teams that have iffy quarterback situations that they can use a quarterback. If I want to get out of it as a team, because the publicity side of it is obviously going to be a big part. That's obviously the reason Colin Kaepernick wasn't signed years ago. If I'm looking at the publicity side of it, I need a quarterback. If I sign any other quarterback right now that is worse than Cam Newton and worse than Kaepernick and isn't just like the best fit.
crapped all over
crapped
on.
You signed some nobody who was a third stringer on some Canadian football team. You're getting crapped on. You have to sign Cam Newton or Colin Kaepernick if you're going to sign a quarterback right now. And right now, if you want to get a quarterback and you don't want to have to get the big iffy publicity stunt right now, and I don't say publicity stunt as in Colin Kaepernick being signed would be a publicity stunt. I'm saying like it's not that I don't think he could play. He could play, but if you sign him, the publicity you're going to get is going to be positive. As we always say, any publicity is good publicity. You're going to want to sign Cam Newton first so you can get away from that. I have a quarterback. I'm not really taking that big of a risk because he's a former MVP. He can do great. If not, I still have another quarterback that I can have on my roster. There's not really any team that doesn't have a quarterback.
See, it's weird, this whole thing, because Cam Newton is the better quarterback of the two.
Definitely.
Obviously, he is the better quarterback of the two. He's been playing the last 3-4 seasons, however long it's been since Colin Kaepernick's been out of the league. But although Cam Newton should be signed first, Colin Kaepernick is going to be signed first. None. Because you said it wasn't for a publicity stunt. Mm-hmm. He's going to be signed because of a publicity stunt. Mm. If a team actually wanted Kaepernick for his talents, he would have been signed by now. He would have been signed years ago. But if a team signs him now, it's not because he got good. It's not because of his talents. Yeah. It's because of the image that it's going to make for the team, for the league. It's for the statement that they're going to be making as a franchise. If you generally thought Colin Kaepernick was a good quarterback, and he's probably going to be Brian's backup, he could still probably be a decent backup. I'm not sure if he's still a starter. It's also been a while. I don't think he's a starter. Backup, yes, I could totally see him doing that. If you really thought that he could play in this league, if you really thought that he could perform well in this league from his talents, he would have been signed already. The only reason that a team is going to sign him now is for the publicity, and so I honestly don't really want to hear otherwise.
Yeah, I think, well, like other teams, like Hugh Jackson came out and said he wanted to sign him back in 2017 or 16, whenever that was. He said he originally wanted to sign Kaepernick, but the decision ended up going to higher ups, and they said no. Pete Carroll said he wanted to sign Kaepernick, and they said back then, yeah, he also came out and said that he regrets not signing him. But back then, they said that the workout went great. Like the actual day it happened, the workout went great. But then word came out that Cam said that he refused to, not Cam, Colin said that he refused to not kneel. And that's when they went sideways on contract.
Also, a number of years ago, the Broncos, John Elway offered Cam Newton the contract, but he turned it down because he didn't think he was getting paid enough. Sorry, Colin Kaepernick. Thank you.
We've both been doing it. Sorry.
Yeah. No offense.
Yeah, but at that point, it's kind of like also like that. If you want to be on a team, and a lot of people actually got on him about that. They said, "Oh, if you really want to just play, why don't you just take the contract?" But if I think I'm an elite quarterback, yes, there's the whole publicity side of it, but it still comes down to the let's say the Dak effect. Like you want your money. Now. Yeah, it's the Dak effect, but to a lower level. It's not as psychotic as Dak is right now. But Colin Kaepernick was coming off of a not bad season, and they weren't offering him not bad season money. They were offering him, we need you to come stand on the sideline. And just in case we need you to throw a couple balls, you're going to stand right there. Yeah. That's the money they were offering him. They weren't offering him, you might be our starter, you might just be a solid backup. So it comes down to,
this whole situation is really weird. I'm really curious to see who's going to get signed first. So I think genuinely interested. It should be happening soon. A guy that he signed, but he's not playing right now, is Dalvin Cook. He's holding out. He's going to his last year of his rookie contract up there in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And he's holding out because he wants Christian McCaffrey type money. And Dalvin Cook does not deserve Christian McCaffrey type money. He's not going to get Christian McCaffrey type money because he's not good and not as important and not as meaningful to the team as Christian McCaffrey is.
Very true.
I can understand a player, like we're talking with Kaepernick. I understand a player wanting, like, thinking that they know their worth, thinking that they're worth more than they're actually getting paid, which is obvious. Dalvin Cook is obviously one of the better backs in the league. Obviously, he should be making more money when he's off his rookie contract. Obviously. He should be making one of the more higher paid running backs in the league. But he shouldn't be making Christian McCaffrey type money. And honestly, it's hard to see. I'm losing faith in the whole argument of paying running backs high money, because I got stats real quick. So,
all right, give them to me.
8 of the 10. Let me read off my phone real quick. 8 of the 10 highest paid running backs missed the NFL playoffs last year, and the 2 on teams that made it logged 0 playoff snaps. Those players are in rank from highest to lowest value contract. David Johnson of Arizona, Todd Gurley, Rams, Le'Veon Bell, Jets, Leonard Fournette, Jacksonville, Lamar Miller, Houston, Saquon Barkley, Giants, Devonta Freeman, Atlanta, Ezekiel Elliott, Dallas, Jerick McKinnon, San Francisco, and Giovanni Bernard, Cincinnati. You're paying, these are the top 10 highest paid running backs, and none of those teams made the playoffs, or if they didn't make the playoffs, they didn't play a snap in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's
so that's kind of damning, right?
Yeah. It's right now. This is a passing game right now. Everything kind of relied on quarterbacks and big time receivers, but you have to throw the running game in to throw it off. Yes. You know that's the reason Derrick Henry didn't get the contract, but Tannehill did. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of a weird thing. The quarterback is kind of more important right now. You gotta need your quarterback. You need your receivers, and running backs. It's kind of like, I think this is kind of, I wouldn't say fault of, but kind of the Philip. If I get the name wrong, let me know. I think it's Philip Lindsay. That's his name, right? Philip Lindsay. Yes, Philip Lindsay, undrafted, ends up being one of the top running backs in the league 2 years ago, and then last year didn't even have a bad season.
Offensive rookie to ever make the Pro Bowl.
So it's kind of, at this point, a lot of teams have been getting running backs in the late rounds or undrafted.
Well, they're replaceable. They're more replaceable now than ever.
Yeah, because running backs are coming out being able to do everything. Yes. Running backs are able to come on and receive. Like, we have the Duke Johnsons of the world right now. They could come out and play receiver a game, and the next game they could run the ball all game, and then they could go back out and play slot a whole game. There's too many players who can do multiple things.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. And then so for you to come out and Dalvin Cook, great running back.
Yeah.
But he does not have the receiving.
Talents.
His running ability is great. It's almost, I would say, almost on par with Christian McCaffrey. His running ability, just hand the ball off to him, going downhill, side to side. His ability is almost on par with Christian McCaffrey. But then when you throw in the receiving ability, yeah, he's a receiver, but he doesn't have Christian McCaffrey numbers out of the backfield receiving.
See, the only way to justify paying a running back big money is if they could play both running back and wide receiver. And Christian McCaffrey's case, hell, sometimes even quarterback. It's hard because a lot of the new way to go is you draft a guy or you sign the guy undrafted out of college, have a rookie contract, play for 4 years on cheap money. Then once you're done with that, you move on, find the next one. Rinse and repeat, because we saw with Todd Gurley is probably the biggest, most recent example of a super high-level athlete destroying defenses that he drops off instantly after he signs that big money contract.
I mean, I think the biggest example of that is David Johnson. David Johnson is the third. I think he's fourth now because of Christian McCaffrey. He's like the third or fourth highest paid running back. Just got traded for DeAndre.
He is the highest.
Christian McCaffrey's highest now.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Now he is, yeah.
Yeah, and then Ezekiel Elliott also got his new contract, so he's higher. So he's like third.
Oh, yeah.
But he got a new contract, and then he just went downhill. And I
drafted both him and Todd Gurley for fantasy. Yeah. Both years they sucked.
I'm a Cardinals fan, and I do hope the best for David Johnson, and I do hope this is a comeback season for him. I hope he plays like that. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's on Houston now, so it's like Kenyon Drake's the way to go. But I hope the best for him. Mm-hmm. But as of right now, how he's played the last couple of seasons, I don't think he's worth $10 million a year, which is what he's being paid. He's been paid $10, $11 million a year right now. And it's like he just fell off. He got that big contract, got injured twice for 2 seasons, then just didn't play well when he came back. So it's like you give these quarterbacks, these running backs this money, but it's kind of like if I keep seeing teams sign these running backs to big contracts and then they drop off, but then the rookie running backs and stuff on their rookie contracts, they're doing good. I'd rather just get a new running back every 4 years.
It's easier. It's cheaper.
Every
It's
4
probably
years.
going to
It's
work.
cheaper. I'll just every single year spend a second or third round pick designated to the best running back available.
Hell, sometimes even the first if you get the Saquon.
Even the first, if you see a Saquon type running back in the first, get him. Then sign him to a slightly better contract but shorter. That's what I would do.
All I know is that if I'm any sort of higher up executive on any NFL team right now, I am not going to be paying a running back big money long-term contract.
My whole thing is, I think if you're going to pay a running back, and I think teams are afraid to do with any player right now, sign them to you. Just because they're on their team does not mean you can't sign them to a prove-it deal. Right? You play 4 years on your rookie contract. I'm going to give you not a little bit. Obviously, I'm going to give you a better amount of money. Like if you're making $4 million a year, I'll bump you up to $6 million a year right now for 2 years. And 2 years, second season being a team option.
Yeah.
And then we'll rework your contract. But I'm not going to give you $10 million and then you go out there next season and give me 3 yards per carry. I'm not doing that. You're going to get a prove-it deal, and if you do that for 6 years, that's 6 years. I would give you tell me your number. At that point, if you can do that for 6 seasons, give me your number. I'll 100%. Give it to you.
100%. I totally agree with you on that one.
Seasons on the rookie contract, and then they're losing that rookie thrive. I think that's what it is. This rookie contract goes out, and the rookie drive to be the best goes out too. And then now that people are starting to play about money, now it's okay. I can't get injured. If I get injured, I'm losing this contract. And then they end up not playing and losing the contract anyways. But it's like at least I'll stay on this contract.
Yeah, it's crazy. Really curious to see how this gets resolved. Let's move in from the NFL. Talking running backs in the NFL. Let's talk about one of the best college football running backs of all time. Over this week, USC, after 10 years, has finally been able to recognize Reggie Bush. This comes off his pay-for-play scandal where he was stripped of his Heisman and he was pretty much blacklisted, scarred from all record birds, school mentions, Twitter, stuff, the whole 9 yards. He was worse than Colin Kaepernick. And I was mad when they made him give back his Heisman Trophy, because the thing is, if he got busted for PEDs or something performance enhancing or steroids or something like that, and made him play better, it made him play like the Heisman caliber he was, I understand stripping him of the trophy. But if he's just accepting money from donors and boosters, that's not going to affect his ability on the field.
Yeah.
Just because he accepted money from outside sources illegally does not mean that he doesn't deserve the Heisman.
Yeah.
So I was mad when they made him take it away. So my question is, should Heisman give Bush his trophy back? And I say 100% yes.
Yeah, I think they should give it back. My whole thing on it, first of all, I think the whole donor thing, I think you should allow donors and stuff or whatever.
Now we're starting to get into the whole gray area of that. If players are
now it's a gray area.
It's going to be iffy now.
I think they should allow stuff like that. I think you should allow, but I think you should put a limit on it. Obviously, I don't think you should be giving players millions of dollars, but if you're helping them move and then give them monthly, okay, here's your go out and eat, get yourself some stuff. I know you're not, because these players are full-time players. A lot of them don't have time to do other jobs. They don't have pocket money or anything. And then a lot of these players are also coming from areas where their family's not doing too well. So their family needs money. They need to send money home. And a lot of players, the only money they do make, they send home. So now they don't have anything.
Well, see, what a lot of players do is if you're living on campus, you get that covered. But if you're living off campus, like an off-campus apartment, you get a stipend a month. And most players find a apartment that's not as expensive as the full stipend, so they could either save the money or send the money home. But it's not much. It's not much at all.
And so I think you should allow players to get paid. Obviously, put a limit on it. Obviously, I would change the limit based off of D1, D2, D3, depending on what level you're on. Obviously, change the limit there. I think you should allow donors to make money, but then at the same time, my thing was some players said, obviously, if you're making money, you're going to play a little bit better because you have another incentive. Yeah. But my thought on that is a lot of the players, which it is a good majority of the players, they get scholarships because they don't have the money. They wouldn't make it if they had to pay for it themselves. Mm-hmm. So technically they're already paying to get paid because their scholarship is them paying to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I don't play good, I don't have the scholarship.
You get
So
your scholarship stripped.
exactly. So all of them are already paying for money.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on. You can't say that he was playing good because he was getting paid. Everyone's technically getting paid.
Come on now. I hate that argument.
It's a work week. That's how all football players see it. That's the work week. And then whatever Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day you pay, that's play day. So
with all the health risks that these players are going through, all the stuff that they put themselves through, they're not getting paid enough anyway. This is why I'm glad that the NCAA is finally taking their heads out of their asses and letting them get paid. But Bridget Bush, get your trophy back. You deserve it. End of story. End of discussion, right?
Yeah. He just pay him. Just get rid of that problem in the hole.
Thank you.
And just make it my one last thing on this topic is to make it better. If you're gonna pay, my thing is if you're gonna pay a player, you have to pay all players. That should be the rule. Instead of just being don't pay players, and it just make it to where, because the whole thing is everyone's gonna be like, well, then the schools with more money are gonna pay players higher. Make it, if you're gonna pay one player, you also have to pay the other players at least a certain percentage of that. You can't just be giving $5 million to him and then some other players aren't getting anything. To make it kind of a middle ground to where everyone's not just giving millions of dollars to one player or their starting 11. Make it to where, okay, you pay one player, you have to give at least everybody else 40% of what you just gave him.
Understandable, totally.
Yeah.
There's that, and speaking of pay, that's why the MLB season is in doubt, in jeopardy, at risk of not happening this year. Because no matter what happens in all the negotiations, the MLBPA sending something to the MLB not sending it back, not going to work, the MLB sending something, MLBPA outright rejecting it. Mostly because of pay disputes, money, and safety, and all that stuff. Because the league doesn't want to pay the players what they're worth because it's a shortened season. And the players, of course, want their money, unsurprisingly, right? Total shocker. Yeah. And they're not agreeing on any deal. There's been like 8 different deals sent back between the two of them, and they haven't come to a conclusion. They haven't come to agreement. They haven't come to a compromise. And so, honestly, right now, it might just be the pessimist in me, because we have the NHL coming back, we have the NBA coming back. We'll get to that in a second. But there's been no plan laid out for the MLB. It's already June 11th. Their goal a month ago was to come back in July for the 4th of July weekend. And the pessimist in me is saying that the MLB season is not going to happen this year.
Yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. I want baseball. I definitely want baseball. I've been really loving baseball. I mean, obviously as a Giants fan, it hasn't been too great watching baseball the last couple of years, but just baseball in general, it's a great sport. And it'd be hard to see them not play. It'd be really difficult.
I catch myself, especially now, watching highlights and stuff. I miss because in other sports like NFL, NBA, NHL, that's stuff where it feels like it takes energy to watch that sport because you get into it. But what's nice is that most time in baseball, it's a slower sport.
Yeah, it's kind of chill.
It's a sport where, man, I can grab my hot link. I can grab a nice glass of Storm Sword flavored water is what I usually roll with. A little Crystal Light. Sponsors Crystal Light. We'd love to have you sponsor the show.
Also ice. Ice is delicious.
I love a good ice. Like the strawberry kiwi. Ooh. Ooh.
That's actually my favorite one. It's crazy.
Dude, strawberry ice, it's really good. But I love being able to kick back, throw my legs up, and just chill and watch a nice game of
baseball game.
Oh, baseball games are awesome to go to, but it's so nice to be able to kick my legs up, watch a nice 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock afternoon game of baseball. It's so good.
Honestly,
I miss it. I miss it, man.
Yeah, the only time baseball games really get not that they're not intense, like an intense sport, but only time I as a fan get really focused, and then it kind of gets to that football, basketball type feel is when it's 9th inning, 8th inning, 4-3. Both pitchers have been throwing strikes the last couple of innings. What's it coming down to? Or we're going to extra inning. That's what it gets intense to me. But before that, calm, relaxed,
the first few innings, it's so chill, and especially when your team, the few times when the A's get going in a blowout win, it's so much fun to watch. When the team is rolling and you see constant home runs, singles, doubles, and all that fun stuff. When the team's just hitting, their stride on offense. It's so much fun to watch, and I don't want to hear otherwise. If you slander baseball, I slander you.
Yeah, there are some times. I'm not gonna lie. There have been times where I just been watching a baseball game and I just get a little bit too relaxed and I've fallen asleep.
Like when the game ends 1-0, kind of sucks. But
yeah,
but then also, if you really appreciate the sport, you can appreciate a good pitcher's duel as well.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just like there are times when there's great pitching duels, and then there's just times where
offense just sucks. Right?
Yeah, offense just sucks. Those are the times I've fallen asleep. Where it's like, okay, I'm not the best at baseball, but I think I could hit that. Sometimes like that. I'm not talking about either mind guy. Yeah.
I really hope the MLB and the MLBPA can come to a consensus because I want baseball. I don't care if it's the 50 games, 51, 82 games, whatever it is, 81 games. I just want some sort of baseball because I miss it, and I need baseball back in my life.
Yeah.
At least we know one thing, though, Jalen, is that the NBA is coming back. Originally, it was announced to come back on July 31st. Now they've moved it up all the way to July 30th instead. A whopping one day they've moved up the start of the season. So, cool.
Awesome.
Okay, I'll take it. Not complaining.
Whatever.
But their return to play is a little confusing, and so we're just going to break this down and talk about it because I have 22 teams that are going to be playing in Orlando, 13 from the West, 9 in the East, and they're going to be playing essentially 8 regular season games to determine the seeding for the 16-team playoffs. It's still 8 and 8 from each conference, and there's going to be playing games for.
Do you want me to explain this?
I'm just going to try to talk about it real quick. I'll have you come clear it up.
Yeah.
So because so the NBA for the play-in, there's a play-in for the 8th seed, but only if the 9th seed is fewer than 4 games behind in the standings.
No. So there are play-in games no matter what. They're going to come in and play the games. After they finish all those games up, they're going to look at the records, and if the 9th seed is within 4 games of the team, because there was more than this many games left, they would have, the team they would have played are different.
Yeah.
So they're going to come in, and then if there are 4 games within each other, that team and the whatever team is in the 8th seed at that point, they will play pretty much in a series, I guess. From my understanding, they will play in a series
7 or the 5.
I didn't get that part yet. I don't know if you have that pulled up, but I know up to that point, the 9th seed and the 8th seed will then play for the spot. I don't know if it's a 1 game or like a 7-game series. I think they should be first to 3. That would be my best. What I think would be best would be play to 3.
So 5-game series.
Yeah, 5-game series, first to 3.
Yeah. Like the NHL play-in brackets.
Yeah. And then after that, you go in. And then that person becomes 8th seed, and then you give them a little break, and then they go into the playoffs. But my thing is, I know this might sound like a shocker. I think whoever has the 8th seed going in will have not the best chance, but has a way better chance than a lot of the other teams just based off circumstance to win the entire thing, go all the way. Because listen to me, they're going to be playing the most intense basketball. The 1 through 7 seed, they're safe. They have their spot. It's the 8th seed and down that are going to be playing the most intense because they know their season depends on it. Yeah. It's kind of like at the end of the season where the top teams are kind of just like whatever. If we lose, we lose. We already made playoffs, resting our top guys. They're not going to be too driven in those last couple of games because they don't want to injure anybody or lose anybody before they get to actual games that actually matter. I think those teams that are playing intense, when they get to actual series like 1st seed against 8th seed, that 8th seed team has now found their role. Like they're rolling right now. They made it through all those other teams. They defied the odds. They're pushing right now. And that 1st seed team who's been kind of not together for a while, they just came back together. Then they came back together and weren't really playing the best basketball because they're kind of just waiting for this. Kind of slacked off and kind of looked down on this team like it was regular season basketball and not get rolled through, but kind of get put to a fight that they weren't expecting.
That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
If we're talking about one of the current 8 seeds, it's the Memphis Grizzlies. After them, they have respectively the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, the Kings, Spurs, and Suns. those 5 teams, all those teams have been invited to as part of the 22 teams.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say now that I feel bad for the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Grizzlies fans because the NBA, out of all of the major professional sports in America, has the biggest tendency to rig games. We've seen in the past. Was it 2002 Western Conference Finals?
I don't need to talk about that.
Am I correct on the date, though?
No, I'm pretty sure it's 2006.
2006.
Was it 2002?
Okay.
It might be 2002. I don't know.
Early 2000s, the NBA rigged the hell out of the Western Conference Finals between the Kings and the Lakers. And that's what's going to happen now because the Pelicans are currently not in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a rookie like Zion.
And just for other insight, I know this might not mean too much.
Okay.
But Zion was also the only NBA player in the NBA 2K21 revealed today. He was the star of it.
Mm.
He's looking like he might be the cover.
So there's no way there's no one on the Memphis Grizzlies that has star power like Zion Williamson.
Zion.
Yeah. And so what's going to happen is that no matter what happens, no matter anything goes, the NBA is going to somehow rig it where it's going to be the Pelicans in the 8th seed in the Western Conference so they don't miss out on the Zion money in the playoffs. That's 100% going to happen. It's confirmed. It doesn't matter. Like the Suns, the Spurs, Kings, Blazers, and Grizzlies can all just go home now because it's going to be the Pelicans in the 8th seed no matter what they do, no matter how well they play. Because the NBA wants that money, and they're going to make it happen.
The ESPN also came out with the statistics, the percentages for who was going to be the team to take the 8th seed. All right, let me pull this up real quick. I'll pull it up really quickly just to get this out the way. Sure. But let's just say the percentages were kind of disrespectful to a couple of teams.
Disrespectful to what couple of teams you're talking about?
The Phoenix Suns and the Sacramento Kings were given a 0% chance to take the 8th seed. They were given a 0% chance. The order that it went was Portland Trailblazers have a 35.3% chance to make it. Memphis Grizzlies have a 32.4% chance. New Orleans Pelicans have a 29.4% chance. And then San Antonio Spurs have a 2.9% chance. And then that's where the list ends. The Kings and the Suns don't even get mentioned.
Okay, come on. If you're a team, no matter how bad you are, if you're a team and you're playing in this, you deserve at least like 0.1%. You deserve at least a percentage.
And the part that made me mad was it wasn't that just because I'm a Kings fan. Obviously, I'm a Kings fan that's going to make me mad. The fact that the Kings are equivalent in odds, record-wise, to the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, and the Spurs. They have the same record. So, and they were all playing pretty good at the time. So
they had the same record. The Kings were actually on the hot streak before the season got canceled.
Kings, technically, statistically, based off of winning. Well, obviously, the game that got canceled the night of the NBA stopping was the Kings versus Pelicans to take the 9th seed. Whoever won that game was going to be the 9th seed team.
So it's disrespectful as hell to give the Kings the same amount of percentage as a team that didn't even make the final 22 cut.
Yes,
that's awful. Fix it.
You pretty much said they should stay home, which is, I think that's.
But
I mean,
ESPN puts out a bad article.
Oh what? Wow, ESPN put out a bad article.
No way.
Never happened.
No way.
My thing is, if the team is invited and they have a chance, they have a chance. You can't put them at 0 point something. It's a 1% chance something. You can't say a team has below a 1% chance of making it. It doesn't make sense to me. That's just bad analysis of it. I don't care. Every team has a chance. Just like in fighting, every fighter has a puncher's chance. These guys are basketball players. They're basketball players who were right there on the edge of, and arguably could have been there in the 8th seed had the season just kept going. They were going hot, so you never know. And to get them as
this ESPN Center is only if they ever want to hire me or Jalen in any sort of role. I love ESPN. I love Disney. All hail our Chinese overlords. God bless them. Oh wait, they're atheists. Shit, I just got me canceled.
Yeah, I didn't say. ESPN put 90% of their content is good, but there is a 10% content rating, which they put out a lot of content. So it ends up looking really bad because if you put out 100 articles and 90 of them are good, but there's 10 bad ones, and those 10 are the ones that I look at, it looks really bad. But we still know you put out 90%. So it's most of your guys' stuff is good, but when it comes to like starting putting percentages and win-loss ratings, I think you guys need to relook into who's doing those.
All I gotta say is, come on now, ESPN, do better, be better. You are better. If you're making all this money, you shouldn't be putting out stuff like this. Where's your publicist? Where's your editor-in-chief? SMH. For all those non-audio listeners, which is most of them, because mostly Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we appreciate all of you, but also the ones I tune on YouTube. We appreciate you as well. That's going to wrap it for us today. Make sure Twitter at Fourth Long Radio, Instagram at Fourth Long Radio, www.thefourthandlong.com. You can find everything that you need to know.
Everything.
We got interviews listed there, top videos, top podcasts, every single social media and streaming site that you can find us on. There's a donate page at the Anchor. You can send 99 cents a month, $9.99 a month, or just anything helps. Honestly,
you got some pocket change.
We broke, essentially. We broke AF. Then also, sports articles. If you like to read instead of watch or listen, then that's your site as well. But I am Ross. That is Jalen. This is going to do us for episode 39.
It's not going to do us. It's going to do it for us.
No, it's going to do us. It's going to do us for episode 39 of the Fourth Long Podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll see you on the flippity flip, homie.
Flip.